Hi, Sandy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Question, have you heard of the band Steel Dragon?
No.
Okay. Have you heard of the band Steel
No,
Dragon?
I know Steel Panther, but not Steel Dragon.
Have you heard of the film Rockstar?
Yes.
Have you heard of the film Rockstar?
Yeah, isn't that a Guy Ritchie film?
It's Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, it's
plays.
the Judas. Yeah,
We've
it's
talked about this.
It's loosely based.
I think I bought the DVD yet to watch. I'm sure.
Tim Rip Owens, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure I picked it up after our
I have
discussion
seen
about
it. Good
music
film.
films.
So this is we talk about fake metal bands, so Spinal Tap, but Spinal Tap do play their instruments.
Yep.
And you talk about like Bad News, and you took all these. There's loads of films which have got these metal bands or rock bands in them that are fake. And Steel Dragon is one of those. So Steel Dragon is not an existing band. It doesn't exist, but on the soundtrack, all the songs that were performed live are listed as Steel Dragon.
Right.
They are made up of multiple instrumentations that came in. Zach Wilde plays on, who's also in the film. He plays the guitarist Grog, I think his name is in it.
Oh, we're still talking about Rockstar film.
Yes, in the film
Okay.
Rockstar.
So Steel Dragon.
Steel Dragon is the band in the film.
So they couldn't have Judas Priest on the soundtrack. They got a band in to do it, didn't they?
And I can't remember the fucker who's the singer for it, but he's in another band and he actually sings on the songs. So, to me, Steel Dragon are the greatest fictional metal band.
Right. Okay.
And we're going to check out the song called Livin' the Life.
Living the dream.
Livin' the Life off of the Rockstar soundtrack. I want to see what you kind of think about it, because I love this album. The soundtrack's a great album.
If it's as good as the Rocky IV soundtrack, I'll be interested. That's the greatest soundtrack of all time.
Because we have done one song by them before, which we actually saw it as Gabriella Gunkachenko or something her name is, and she
that Ukrainian, yeah.
and she sang the song "We All Die Young."
Yeah.
I think we covered that one.
Oh, okay.
She did a great performance on that song, and that came off of the soundtrack as well. But this is "Living the Life" and "Steel Dragon." Classic metal.
Pre-thrash, isn't it? Yeah.
Very Zach Wilde.
Yeah. This is what the Sunset Strip band sounded like at the heaviest.
So what band is if this is young Tim Rose, what band is he supposed to be watching?
So this would be the equivalent of Judas Priest.
Yeah,
That's not from the film, is it?
This is all from the film.
No, the stage shots. Is that from the film?
the crown at the beginning, yeah.
So that's supposed to be Judas Priest?
No, this is based on the concept of the Judas Priest.
Yeah, they couldn't use the name Judas
This
Priest.
is Steel Dragon.
There's a bit of a homoerotic bit going on here. We keep looking at each other. Is that part
He's
of
a
it?
fan. Yes, he's interacting with the fans. You need to watch the film.
He replaced Alfred, didn't he? Based on
He's meant to be like the original Halford character
Yeah.
in it. And he's a super fan who gets to come and become the new singer at some point.
Yeah.
He's currently an audience member in the crowd. They're actually singing a song called Stand Up and Shout. '80s.
Hello.
Love the shredding.
Because he basically is, Mark Wahlberg's played him the guy who's in a Steel Dragon tribute band. That's why he's dressing up like the singer. That's what Tim Ripper Owens was.
Back in the days when you used to get a 1 minute solo. So self-indulgent.
It's got members from Dokken on this.
Yeah.
They actually build it with actual genuine metal guys
Yeah.
on stage.
Dokken.
When you could just listen to music in your car and headbang along. Going to a gig. Zach Wilde without a beard.
Yeah.
He's in Dokken. and I can't remember what band he was in. He's the only one that's actually an actor.
Doesn't it? The film ends with him just falling off stage and then just walking out on the band, doesn't it?
Yeah, just
That's the end of it for me. Yeah.
He's burnt out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Steel Dragon and living the life. Andy.
That epitomises what heavy metal is. If people who don't follow heavy metal, maybe it's not very modern. But if they were asked to describe or think what heavy metal was, say 20 years ago, it'd be that kind
Go
of.
watch that. Yeah.
Hard rock. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd think, oh yeah, that's cool. That's as extreme as it gets as well.
Yeah.
Boy, would they be shocked if they saw what was above that in the extremity states and the different genres we have. It doesn't sound like it's produced for a film soundtrack. It does sound like a genuine band with a genuine sort of release. I mean, the video is obviously
clips from the
film, and that makes me want to go and watch it. I don't know if it came across when we were talking, but I'm pretty certain I've bought a cheap copy off eBay, but it's yet to be viewed because we talked about it when we done a session about our favourite sort of rock and metal based films, didn't we? We went through loads and loads, and this was one of your favourites.
Yeah.
You, I think, Dave. But yeah, I mean, I've got the Spinal Tap soundtrack, and it's like so far from anything I usually listen to, but I love it. I listen to it a lot. I mean, within that, they've got tracks like that, which are sort of classic, sort of epitome of what heavy metal is, and they've got some renditions of songs they would have done in like the 60s, like the Flower People and Give Me Some Money.
It's a good album.
Yes, it's a great album. That's a good way of promoting the film and this so-called imaginary band, but you wouldn't think they were. A bit like Spinal Tap. It took me, when I watched it when I was young, but it took me a while to realise that it was a mockumentary, a rock.
It was done so well.
Yeah, it was done so well. And so they play their instruments. They've got those sort of rock star, although slightly exaggerated sort of attributes and the things they get up to and everything. But yeah, you
need to watch it now.
Yeah. You'd be hard pushed to think, is this a band or is this like a film? But if you know you pointed out this guy from Dokken and somebody and Zach Wilde, of course. If you know, but anybody else would think, oh yeah, this is a good rock band. I quite like these. Not too heavy.
Yeah.
Because they had to, on a few occasions, when you look at, they were talking about behind the scenes on the DVD, and they talk about it, and they were like, there were points when they were doing some of the live stuff, they had to count. They'd gone past the point where they were meant to press cut, and they weren't, because the guys on stage were just rocking out.
Oh right, yeah.
They had the amps on and stuff. So the guys from Dokken and Zach Wilde were just fucking riffing out and shit.
Yeah.
And they were just, because they were doing all the concert stage, they're bringing extras for it, and then they were getting so much fun with it. They were actually.
Is it the guitarist from Dokken? Is he called George
Lynch?
George Lynch.
Is that
bass player maybe.
Oh right.
And I can't remember what the other one's from. It's there's a couple of they were kind of all bands that have been in this scene in the 80s.
Do they act these?
And they have a couple of worded scenes.
All right, so they're not they haven't got the sort of.
They haven't got the prestige of being it. They have a few lines here and there, but the main guy is who plays the rhythm guitarist with the black hair, and he's an actor.
Right.
And you can actually see it when he's on stage. He's doing riffs, and you're like, "That's not the fucking chords, mate." You can clearly tell he doesn't have a fucking clue what he's doing.
So there's a difference, yeah. Okay.
Whereas the other guys are actually holding it, coming out on the front, and you go, "You guys know exactly what you're doing." So they're playing.
They have people to do all this though.
But he'd have to learn properly to learn how to play all the riffs and stuff.
Yeah, well, why didn't he on the clip that you just described then?
Yeah.
Anyway.
But the others did really well. Kirk, you've obviously seen. Have you seen this film?
Yeah, I saw it. I think when it came out as well. Yeah, 2001. Yeah. I agree with Andy. The song itself, this is what we've now called trad metal or classic heavy metal, isn't it? It's hard rock. There's still a bit of blues in there. Got a good tempo to it. Loads of shredding. If you ever listen to that Manowar album, Kings of Metal, take out those absurd vocals. That's what musically it sounds like. It's pre-thrash, isn't it? Proto-thrash metal. So it's taken that new wave of British heavy metal sound and like almost got it over the line to what we now know as thrash. It's Zach Wilde. He's been criticised in the past. People are like, oh, he's overrated as a guitar player. I think he's a fantastic guitar player, but he is just like pentatonic blues, isn't it, really? When you listen to it, he's not doing anything remarkable. The vocals were quite good in that actually, because they weren't operatic. They weren't those tenor vocals that are just so. There's so much melodrama behind them, you know, with that like crazed look in the eye and pointing at the camera. But yeah, it did a good job considering they're a fictitious band. And they were put together.
Songs were all written for the album. So they got them together. They wrote the songs for the band. So there's about 6 tracks, I think.
Yeah.
So there are 5 or 6 original songs on the album that we used for the bands. I just find "Living the Life" is just a great one because it's just a good headbang one. Simple, downward chugging. There's a couple of like "Blood Pollution" and "Stand Up," which are a bit more like heavy, slow, like Sad But True style tempo sort of ones in there. But this was a bit more up tempo. But yeah, if you haven't seen Rockstar, we do highly recommend that you do. There we go. Steel Dragon and Living the Life. Now, if you enjoyed the video today, please do like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you on the video sometime very soon. Take care.